In reverse, John.
Okay.
Good evening all, and thank you for coming in. Tonight's meeting, I do appreciate any time, ladies, you have any questions, please feel free to ask. We have a short agenda, as you have it in front of us. Jeff Hall has been scratched from tonight's meeting, and we'll start with the approving the minutes held from April 28th.
I would make a motion we approve the minutes of the last meeting and sign that warrant.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made, moved, and second. All in favor? All three. Like I said, Jeff Hall has been scratched, and we'll be tabling him to the next meeting. The next item is consider the first 1 hour variance of Oakland noise ordinance for the Oak Fest dance in July 24th.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As everybody knows, on July 24th, we're going to have a street dance. We're shutting down Main Street. The hours for that street dance are running from 7 p.m. until 10 p.m. Our new noise ordinance actually starts at 9 p.m. So what I'm asking the council to consider is to authorize a variance for that particular event. And I haven't written anything on the ordinance yet. I just wanted to open up the discussion to see what the general feel is on it.
I'd make a motion we put a variance in there for this Oak Fest on the 24th of July.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made, moved, second. All in favor?
Thank you.
How's that discussion?
That was
And we can do that. We don't have to change the ordinance, right?
I'm
We
not
can-
gonna change
We
the
can do
ordinance.
that every year as the Oak Fest comes up on a different date.
What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to type up some verbiage on that, and I'll have the council sign it, and I just put it in with the ordinance for this particular date in case it becomes discussion. The manager's report, handing out the Oakland Public Library, and nothing real notable. She did mention that the birthday party went well. I did actually attend that, and she had, it was a pretty impressive showing. There was probably 25 or 30 people that were there when I was there. She had a large birthday cake and all kinds of food. And I didn't eat any of it, but I did enjoy
I
it.
did.
Oh, you had some too? The next item on the agenda is the Oakland Fire and Rescue Report. Looking down through it, the rescue items from EMS seems to be the heavy hitter again this year with 61.8% of all their retired calls. You turn to the second page, they have notable incidents. They've had 4 mutual aid calls, 1 to Fairfield, 1 to Sydney, 1 to Waterville, and 1 to Belgrade. And, several chimney fires this past winter, which they contained them all to the chimney. And my next item on the agenda is to advise public feedback on the dog waste ordinance. Mr. McGuire had mentioned something in his newspaper article and we did request public feedback, and we did get several responses, and I guess you received one additional one
Yeah,
that I
there's a
hadn't
lady
heard
called
about.
me.
That was me.
That was you? Okay.
Okay. I've had one lady actually from Waterville had mentioned that she wished Waterville had a dog waste ordinance because they have that problem over there, and I think I do have a copy of that ordinance.
Yeah.
The comment that I've gotten from the general public is they would in fact like to see something for an ordinance. Enforcement is certainly going to be a challenge. I took some time to sit down with Pat Poucher, our animal control officer, and it's very, very difficult to catch the people. If you get a community who's willing to work together, and if they spot somebody that's causing a bit of an issue and actually make a phone call, it would certainly make it easier. I think everything that we can do will probably help the situation. And one of the conversations that I think we had was at the time of licensing the dog, to hand out a copy of the ordinance so that people understand that we do have an ordinance in place. I've had 2 comments about we can actually test for DNA on them. That actually has a cost, and my research is $64 per sample. That's going to be a hard one because who knows how much money you could spend, and it's something that I don't know if I think we should go with. But I don't have an issue writing one up. It's pretty simple. I've gotten several different responses from area towns who got something on the books, and certainly would be hard to do something.
I think we ought to have one, have you prepare one, have it for first reading on our next meeting. And then, like you say, there's a lot of support for
Yep.
an ordinance, and,
Yep.
and I think it's gonna get easier in the future to police something like that, cause I'll bet all three of these young ladies have a phone with a video camera in it.
And that's what it's gonna take. It's gonna take
All the
participants.
kids have one now,
Right, yeah.
and,
Yeah.
you know, so it's pretty hard to get away with anything now if they,
Mhm.
you know, you see the videos of it,
Yeah.
so, you know, I think it'll be easy in the future to,
Mhm.
and this lady called me and said that the road where she walks her dog is quite a mess sometimes, so,
It is aggravating.
There's, right, am I allowed to speak?
Oh, sure.
Right
Yeah,
in,
yeah.
right, there's a little sidewalk that used to be a road between Hubbard Street and Water Street. And I usually go up that, and that seems to be a favorite for dog walkers, as well as just people cutting through. I mean, it's a little shortcut, but it was horrible this winter. It was just horrible. And I'm gonna show you you get little bags, you get little rolls of bags, like they come in 12 in a container, and it's about $10 or $11, and they're really easy to carry. And it says on here, I'm gonna read you this, that dog waste is not fertilizer. I mean, it's a health issue as well, as just a,
Very disrespectful.
yeah, as well as just it's unsightly. And I guess I'm not passionate about it. I do it myself, but I don't know how much I could, you know, I asked several people to contact counselors, but I don't know that anyone did.
A cheaper alternative to that would be shopping bags as well.
Yeah, you can just use a shopping bag if you still get those, but they often have holes in them, so.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed on Water Street, and on Church Street, I've seen those little bags on the side of the road, where people have actually picked up the dog waste and left it in the bag, which that in itself is littering.
Yes,
And
it
once they
is.
start doing that, then it becomes something that has more of a substantial fine to it.
I've seen that happen on the Meslonsky Trail
I have
too.
to.
And there, they provide bags. And that's still Oakland, so I don't know why
Well,
that is, but.
I think the Mesalowski Trail Association participates in that part of it.
And they do provide bags at the Quarries Road,
Mhm.
although they're out of them at the moment, because I take my dog in many different places, but I always have a couple of bags in the pocket. But anyway, so I spoke with Dr. Glover, who also agreed that it was a health issue, and I guess I would like to think that Oakland was a community that had some civic pride. That's all, and wanted to clean it up.
We are on top of it.
Okay, thank you. I've said my piece.
Questions?
Very good.
So I will get started on that ordinance, and I will have a first draft for everybody to discuss. Now, the next item that I have on the manager's report is the introduction of the Police Department Building Evaluation Committee. And I have sat down and I have talked with these 6 people, and everybody has agreed to join the committee. We actually have John Cox, who's on the committee last year, or the last time, and I think that I have a very effective group of people that I've picked. And if you're okay with that, I'd like to go and get this thing locked in and actually start setting meetings. If there's no discussion for it.
do you wanna give us any more detail in case some of the audience here doesn't know what you're up to?
Yep, absolutely. We, as we all know, our police department is in a place of, it's ADA non-compliant, and it's a safety hazard. And so we attempted to purchase the Catholic Church, St. Teresa's Church, which became cost prohibitive, and it was going to run well over the $1 million limit that we had. So after exploring that, discussion was started about the possibility of looking at a single level smaller facility for the police department, anywhere between 2,500 square feet to 3,000 square feet. We feel as though that with the right people on board, we could make something that's frugal, and it doesn't cost us a lot of money and resolves our issues. And if we look at that structure with the possibility of adding our council chamber in there, in the meeting room, we can eliminate the space here. We can take our assessing and code departments, which are also ADA non-compliant because of the location, bring them down in this location so it solves the same, we get the same results as the church. And so this group here that I'm putting together can evaluate and help me with assessing the situation and see if this is a prudent way to go.
Sounds like a good way to go to me.
Yes, me too.
And the last thing that I have on my manager's report is to distribute the preliminary town assessment from RSU 18. And there's actually a couple of sheets for that. And the first one shows us our commitment. If you look all the way over to the monthly amounts, we're showing an increase for the town of Oakland of $229,562. And that's above and beyond last year. I talked with Councilman Boardman and Borman, and he requested a little more information. He wanted to see a breakdown of how the other towns compared to Oakland, which is on the next piece of paperwork that I gave you. And he also wanted an explanation or summary of what all this meant, and that's what you have on the second page. And total commitment will be $4,888,341, and that is on the second page. This will be the total if you look under Oakland. Fiscal year 2016, you'll see that same figure for Oakland. And if you follow down through Oakland, I listed them 1, 2, 3, 4, and I listed 1, 2, 3, 4, so all the numbers coincide here, so you can see, follow this along. Basically, given the fact that we're looking at a $229,000 increase, a municipal budget saving $82,000 would decrease in our municipal budget, which will bring our net increase to $150,000, and that's what we're going to see for a tax situation.
Do you have the figures on how that's gonna affect the mill rate?
You're gonna be looking at, well, 150,000 is about a third of the mill. So currently we're at 14.75, that's gonna bring us up to 15.05. That's if this budget passes for the school department. And it's gonna break the 15 mill range. We're still gonna be the lowest in all of Kennebec and Somerset County for full service towns. I think Winslow is, I think gonna be at 15.5 or something to that effect.
I can't remember, it was in the paper before.
Yeah. One of those 500, or over $500,000. And other than that, man, that's all I have for you.
Mr. Wrigley?
I have nothing.
Did you have anything?
I was gonna mention this thing that you handed out, your copy of there too, about the jail situation that is, I don't know how that's going in legislature, I haven't heard lately, but if they do turn those jails back to the county like they're talking about, we're gonna have a huge increase in our county, budget.
30% is what they're talking
Yeah,
about.
so, I don't know if you've heard anything since what's been in the paper or not, but,
I actually haven't talked with anybody from Kennebec in regards to that. I do happen to see Major Reardon every once in a while, and I certainly can ask him when I see him.
They say about $2.6 million increase.
yeah. So it's something we need to, talk with our legislators about, tell them how we feel about it.
Right now, it's gonna be a 1.1%,
Right.
just on the,
For fiscal year 16. Yep.
budgets are going up around us everywhere.
Anything else, sir?
The only thing I was gonna mention, Jeff wasn't here, but I had a note here that when he gave us his presentation, I wanted to say what a great job our public works crew have done for the winter. With this winter we've had, they've done a great job on our roads. I don't know how your budget is, but,
Actually, you know something, he's 5% over right now. And, but I think we're gonna be able to pull that back into check before the end of the fiscal year. And, I mean, it did cost us a little more. And, we've had, I think the biggest hit that we had this year has been repairs. And it started right off with that bulldozer this past summer. And, they ended up, that was an $8,000 expenditure that we weren't counting on. Fortunately for us, we had the talent working down there, we were able to do our own labor on it, and we didn't have to go and hire that out. So we saved probably 50% on that aspect of it. Unplanned repairs certainly are something that we can count on happening on occasion, and that's what happened this time. You know, as far as breakdowns in the trucks, we lost an injector pump. RSU 18 certainly stepped up to the plate on that, provided the labor to do that, which saved us a couple $1,000 between towing and hiring it out up in Bangor. And so we've been able to save money with participation from the school department, and they have saved money from our participation with them. I mean, so we've had a collaborative effort going on between the two entities, and it saved the tax money, taxpayers' money this year. And I'm looking at close to $70,000 between RSU 18 and the town of Oakland.
the only other question I've had, on the committee that Gary was putting together on facilities, have you given him some names for that yet?
Well, I've talked with a couple of people. I have no commitments yet. And I'm meeting with him tomorrow. We're gonna be talking about that tomorrow. And I was hoping to have a couple of names prepared for him by then. And, but I just don't seem to have anybody who's willing to, jump on board. If you know of anybody, I certainly would be interested in talking with him. But I don't have room on my agenda to be able to sit on that committee.
No,
And that's what I'm finding with,
that's all I had, sir.
To elaborate on your thing with Jeff Hall today at the bus garage, that's why I'm dressed like I am. We invited the town crew over, and we wanted to say thank you very much. You guys did a phenomenal job. We thanked them for the plowing the turnarounds. We cooked them burgers and dogs and had all kinds of food for them, and thanks for allowing them to come over, and we appreciate it from there.
we appreciated the meal. It was delicious.
Yeah. On Main Street, right in front of Rite Aid, there's a pothole about 7.5 inches deep. I saw a man diving into scuba diving today, so you know, I don't know what he's after, but
I
it
will,
was deep, so
I will let Jeff know about it.
if you could fill that.
That would be a state project, I think.
Yeah,
And I
on Main
wondered-
Street.
That's been right around that catch, there's a
Yeah, sure is.
manhole there, and I wondered if we was getting some washout there, or if it was
No.
just frost that was
Yeah.
doing that.
But-
But it's right near that manhole that's in the street there.
Yeah, they've been busy down on Lakeview Drive. There's a culvert that's not far from your place that they tried to patch that together.
Patch it up a little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
I noticed that when I came in tonight.
yeah. They didn't pull it, but they're gonna end up pulling it. They just
Yeah,
tried to shore it up so it
pretty
would.
bad shape.
Yeah, it's pretty bad shape.
Yeah,
A lot of them are.
yeah.
I was thinking also on the parade for the Oak Fest, as the council, we should probably get involved with that, either walk it or ride it, you know, and we'll have a lot of townspeople out. That's something that we ought to get in shape.
Yeah.
We'll run the next day and, you know, they'll cheer us.
How long's the parade?
I don't know where it is.
Well, I don't
If
think
we
you
were
ride
ride
it.
it, I have a, you know, I can get a float or something like
4
that.
miles every day, so I should be.
Me too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I run it
It's
though.
gonna be about a mile,
About a mile.
No problem.
mile, maybe a mile.
But if we
and a
just,
half.
you know, I'll think about it and be good for us to get out. That's been changed to the Friday night.
Yeah, Friday night it's gonna be the opening celebration for Oak Fest. And starts at 6 o'clock at the high school and it's gonna end at the bowl down.
All the classes, the Messalonsky are gonna have,
I'll
float
tell you what, Joanne's right on top of this. She's got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Mr. Cox, did you have anything tonight? Ladies, I held you off for last. So here's your time to ask all those great questions so you can get A on your reports. Nothing. I can't believe it. I'm almost to do one now. Any questions for us? Anything we can do to help you get an A+?
No, I don't think so.
It's no more than us, that's all. No, thank you for coming. You're more than welcome anytime. Anytime, please feel free to come. Our town meeting is going to be on May 5th at the high school, and it starts at 6:30. So if you want to get there a little bit early, then, you know, you can go down through and anything we could do. We talked about warrants the other day in school.
Thank this lady for her participation in
I'm not done
planned
yet.
dog run. We need a public
We
input
do.
like that.
We do need, you should come more often too. We'll
I
just-
would also, you know, again, I'm gonna speak, but the town crews were wonderful. They really were,
Tremendous.
because I'm right on Water Street. I walk on the sidewalks all the time, and they were very good.
They did a good job for as
I
much
didn't have
snow
to
as we had,
tiptoe
as
too
hard a
much.
winter as it was.
Yeah.
So that being said, Mr. Wrigley,
Make a motion, we adjourn.
all in favor? Good night, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Nice seeing you, ladies.
Hope you do well on your report.
Will you go?
We,